Okay. Just so I want to let you know that there's a movie in China that made it's called The Sinking of the Lisbon Maru. Do you know about this event?
No, I don't. I don't know about this
Okay.
event. Mm.
So this boat, Lisbon Maru, is the Japanese cargo ship. So during World War II, when they took Hong Kong, they took 1,800 British soldiers. So they were
Mhm.
shipping them from Hong Kong to Japan. And then
Right.
along the way, the US spotted it and then thought it was a Japanese boat. So they shoot it, and then so the boat was sinking. So these people are jumping out of the boat, and the Japanese was shooting them to kill the British soldier. And along the coast, there were Chinese fishermen all came out to pick up the British soldiers. So
Mm.
they, in the end, I think it ended up with saving 300 to 400 soldiers. Now these
Right.
soldiers were hiding in the village, the fishing village. The
Mm.
next day, the Japanese came, and then one of the leader, the British troops said, "We need to come out because otherwise the Japanese they will kill everybody, the soldier, everybody in the village." So they did come out, but most of them did survive. They went to Japan and then they survived. So that's a history that apparently not
Yeah.
many people know about
No,
because
I've
of
never
course,
heard of it. I mean, that's an
yeah,
astonishing story and a
yeah,
most remarkable one, and one that people in Britain should know about. Uh,
yes,
the
I
Chinese fishermen went out and saved British soldiers in that kind of
mhm,
way. It's never, I've never heard about it.
me
And as you,
either
I'm the sort of person who does keep an ear
on
out for
these
that kind.
things. Yeah,
So that tells you that this story has been completely suppressed and memory held here,
yeah.
which is outrageous, by the way.
Yes. Now, of course, Japan would never tell this story,
Mm,
but the British should know this, right?
mm,
We're talking about 1,800 people, okay, from
mm.
Hong Kong,
Yeah,
okay. So of course there are records somewhere, but they are not
yeah.
talking about it. So this filmmaker, he is by accident heard about this story, and so he did some research, and he even went out to look for that ship. He wanted to make sure there's a ship. So they use a sonar, different kind of technology,
Mm,
to have now 3D. It's not
mm,
it has not been taken out, but his ultimate purpose is to take that ship out. But it's very deep, and it's it needs some work and money, etc. But anyways, it was very unfortunate. Now he invited when he premiered this documentary. It's basically a documentary because it's true. He invited the survivors of those soldiers, and the soldiers will have all their very touching stories.
mm.
You see, this is a good movie. Everybody should
Yeah,
watch. But guess
yeah.
what? The West has no interest to distribute
No,
this movie. Or the
no.
movie festivals, nobody seems interested in it. Isn't that very
Well, I'm not.
typical?
I'm not surprised at all. Actually, I mean, I'm shocked. I am very shocked. I mean, I'm very shocked that I didn't know about this incident, by the way, which is a very important incident to know about. I'm very shocked that even I don't know about it, but I'm not
Yeah,
at all surprised. I mean, at this particular point in time, there's no interest in the West on the part of the people who exercise power in showing anything that will put the Chinese people in a good light. It's as simple as that.
yeah, and I think I'm impressed that this British leader, he actually came out together with his other soldiers because he didn't want to hurt the Chinese
Yeah,
fisher village,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So this is the I think it is a moment that you see the best of both the British people and
absolutely.
British soldier and the Chinese fishermen. This is
Yes,
such a positive story, I think,
yes, yes,
but
yes,
they don't want you to know.
yes. No. Well, if you go to some of the media today in Britain, the Daily Telegraph is the extreme case, but they're pretty all of them awful. The way they talk about China now is just it's it's very upsetting actually. But no, I find this astonishing. I find this an extraordinary story, a very moving one. It reminds me of another story, by the way, which is from the Balkans, which is that when the Germans rounded up the Jewish people in Bulgaria to send them to Auschwitz, the Bulgarian peasants, when they heard about this, they went and lay on the railway tracks to prevent the trains going. But everybody, everybody in the Balkans knows about this. In Greece, in Yugoslavia, it's there. It's famous. Not famous in the West as it should be, but it is famous in Israel, I believe, and it's certainly famous, as I said, in the Balkans as well. And showing the humanity and courage of people in the face of something of that kind. Um, it's the same. This is the
Mhm.
same thing. but we are not allowed to know about it, it seems. And
And
that is the word. That is the right thing. We are not allowed to know about it because there is no reason why other reason why this film should not be shown in
yeah.
Britain, especially where
Mhm.
I could say that it would attract a very great deal of interest indeed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the
Oh yeah.
British people would be very interested in this film. I mean, if you look at films of interactions between films about interactions between British prisoners of war and the Japanese, there are lots of them in
Mhm.
Britain. The most famous, of course, is the bridge over the River Kwai. But there've been lots of others, and it's this would be another one, and perhaps the most moving one of all. But obviously, our authorities don't want people to know about them.
And it goes back to, you talk about China has a long history of preserving history. In general, I think it because the Chinese authorities, government's always interested in preserving histories and
Yeah.
down
Yes.
to small details. But I
Yes.
find that in the West, even now, there is a law in the US saying you need to declassify what happened to the Kennedy assassination. They don't want us to know. They just don't do
No.
that. There is a
No.
law saying by
No.
2017, they should declassify everything related to both about Donald Trump and Biden. They basically breaking the law by not declassify them.
Yeah.
And
This is
and
this is
nobody
very
there's no pressure for them to do that. You see?
this is very this is very true. About British history, I'm going to say straight away that the history of Britain in the last 100 years, especially from about the start of from the period before the First World War until today, has not been written accurately. I mean, there's an awful lot that has been kept secret and has not been explained, and an awful lot of records have been destroyed, by the way. But just to give one example, and it's one that I discovered about 30 years ago in a reading an American history book, which is about Pearl Harbor.
Mm,
But the Americans deciphered in 1940 a message transferred by the Japanese embassy in Berlin to Tokyo, in which they provided the complete record of discussions about dispositions by the British military in the Far East that had been discussed in the British War Cabinet. And clearly, somebody leaked that information first to the Germans and then
okay.
to the Japanese. Now, that's a major event, but
Mm,
you will never find any reference to it in
okay.
any history in Britain. No book I've ever seen in Britain writes about it.
So they're just not that interested
No,
in knowing
no,
what truly happened in history,
no,
right? There's
no,
no
no,
interest.
no,
Okay.
no. Well, there's a lot of interest, but there's also a lot of determination that most people shouldn't know, and this is a major problem. In the British, in particular, are very very controlled in the way they keep their secrets.
Well, then you don't learn, right? If you don't know what
You
happened,
don't know,
then you
no, no.
don't
You have
learn.
a
Yeah.
very distorted understanding of your own history if that's the case. But
Yeah.
the British are perhaps the most skilled at this.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Another interesting discussion with you.
Another
So,
interesting discussion. Now, speak soon. Have a great week. Okay.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.